Has anyone ever told you, keep your expectations high while you're dating? Know what you're worth while you're dating. Make sure you have high expectations from other people. Yeah, I've heard that too. And that is a recipe for disaster with your relationship for two reasons. One, that your self-worth is tied in with expectations, and two, the idea of even having expectations in a relationship. So in this video, I'm going to define self-worth and how that works, and then we're going to talk about expectations and why they're so toxic for relationships and what to do instead. Thanks for watching School of Modern Love, the place to learn how to love deeply. My name is Stephanie Worley. I am a professional relationship coach and a licensed mental health counselor, and let's dive in. So the first part of what we're going to talk about is self-worth. And a lot of times people are like, have high expectations, know what you're worth, and then match that with dating, like have those expectations while dating. And I want to separate that. Like your self-worth is not tied into another person or how they treat you. Your self-worth, your worth is how you see yourself, how worthy you feel about yourself. So no matter expectations, high or low or whatever, it's how you think about you. Okay, and that is so important, that work in there. We can have a whole video on self-worth and what that looks like and how that shows up in dating, but it is separate from expectations. Okay, so cleaning that up will help you set expectations when you're dating. But now we're going to talk about why expectations are actually toxic and can be poisonous for a relationship. So with expectations, it sounds very good to have this idea of I'm expecting, someone who will listen to me and do the dishes and, who will take care of me when I'm sick, like someone who cares. And it sounds so well-intentioned. And this kind of does come back to your self-worth, is knowing what you want is different than expecting things from people. Okay? So self-worth, and when you have self-worth, you're able to define what you want in a relationship. And that really is important to know. That helps with the dating process, because if you don't know what you want, you won't even know when it comes knocking on your door. You won't know what it looks like. Okay, so knowing what you want is a big part of this. But when you're in that relationship and you have expectations, what's happening for most of us is that we expect them to do something to help us feel better. And that right there is part of the toxic part of that relationship. Okay? So when we're using expectations, we have this story or this rule book that they're supposed to follow for us to feel good. You're supposed to do the dishes. You're supposed to help out. You're supposed to bring me soup when I'm sick. Why didn't you? I'm mad because you didn't. And they have no idea what this rule book is. They have no idea what these expectations are. And so when they don't meet them, which so often they won't because they don't know the rules, and even if they're told the rule book or what the expectations are, they're probably not going to do it the way you want to or want them to. They're not going to complete it in, the timely manner that you want them to or how you want them to. So for me and my husband, it's the dishes. I need help with the dishes. And we're not talking about washing the dishes. We're just talking about putting them from the sink into the dishwasher. And I have these expectations, and it always comes back to me being disappointed. So when we have expectations for them to do something, behave a certain way, we end up getting hurt by it. Because it's our expectation. And they end up not following it exactly the way it is. Maybe they do for a lot of things, but there are some that they're not going to follow. They're not going to want to follow. They're not going to want to do it. My husband does not want to do the dishes. It doesn't bother him like it bothers me. Okay? So the question is always well, then what? People just going to let people walk all over me? Have no expectations? And that's not it. We can make requests of people. We can ask people to do things. Honey, please do the dishes. I'm expecting you to, help out and do the dishes. And if they don't, and I'm upset, it's because I choose to be upset about it. It's me. So, of course, you don't let people walk all over you. You, again, goes back to your self-worth. Decide what you want and what you don't want in a relationship. Is this something that I'm okay with? And yes, I'm okay with it. I can do the damn dishes. There's a lot of other good things about this person. But maybe not for you. When you're dating, it's like, I expect them to hold the door open for me, or pay for dinner, or ask where I want to go, or ask me about this. And if they don't follow your expectations of how you want them to behave, how they should behave, then you get to decide, do I want to keep this person or not? Do I want to keep dating them? It is up to you. And the dating, why we date, is to figure that part out. So it's okay. But again, cleaning up your self-worth, knowing what you want, knowing, having that self-confidence to say what you want, to make the requests, and to be okay if they don't follow through. What do you want to make that mean? Because that may mean, I gotta go. That's not okay for me. That's honoring your self-worth. So letting go of expectations, being able to not have them, what that means, what that actually looks like, is accepting the person for who they are right now, right there in front of you, and deciding whether or not you want to be with them. That is your choice. That is your power. Whether you're in a relationship and you've been in it for years or not, every day you get to decide. And for people who've been in long-term relationships, it is a decision every day, because there are things that are really frustrating, that you do have expectations. So I want you to get curious about the roles that you play, but also like the roles of other people in your family, and what expectations do you have for those roles? Like those unwritten roles, like maybe in your family, I'm the youngest in my family. So what does that mean? What does it mean to be a daughter? What does it mean to be the youngest of the family? What are the rules that I'm supposed to play by? And question them. What expectations do I have for my mom, my husband, my coworker even? We're in all these relationships, and there are unwritten rules, there are these expectations that we have for them and they have of us. We can't control the expectations they have of us, but what you can do is look at, what do I expect of other people? And what if I just let that go and just accept them for whatever they bring to the table that day, accept them for what they are, for who they are. And then I get to decide how I want to show up. How do I want to move forward? That is the healthy option. That is the place where you can develop deeper, more meaningful relationships. You own your emotions. You own your own worth. You don't outsource that to anybody else. You take responsibility for that and you own it. Your relationships will go so much further and so much deeper. You allow other people to own their emotions. So when they have and it could be something you've done, but when they have a moment that they're angry, and it's like, okay, you do what you can. If they're mad at you for something, you can apologize. And then you just hold space for them to have their emotion. They're just having their reaction. It's okay. Okay? And you own yours. Okay? This is powerful stuff. So good. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to see the difference between the self-worth and expectations, and then knowing, how to let go of those expectations and how to free yourself from that, codependency is really what it creates, okay? So thank you so much for watching School of Modern Love. If you learned something new here, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more weekly tips on love, please subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.